So first couple weeks on the job here, how are you feeling adjusting coming back to Corvallis?
Good. Start getting settled and got a house now and family's here, so life's good. And then, getting this thing installed so it's not just stuff that I know in my brain. I think guys are starting to understand it, starting to play a little faster, feeling better.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
When did Bray kind of give you that call to ask you to come join the staff, and what's that process been like making a move?
I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was. I've been asked that question a couple times, but I think from what I remember, it was I reached out and said, hope you have options. Hope they're all good options, and cheering for you. And we talked shortly thereafter and expressed interest, and then kind of went from there. But it was right. I can't remember if that was a Sunday or a Saturday that Jonathan took that job, so it was right after that.
How would you describe the task at hand for you? You've got a bunch of new players, whole new system. You're new. How do you go about installing that, and what's the learning curve on? How quickly can you make that happen?
Yes.
TBD.
Yeah. You have to start somewhere.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that we'll want to do is an iteration of something else that we do,
Gotcha.
and so there's building blocks. Some of the stuff that we'll do may not necessarily be what we run all the time during the season, but it's the starting point. So we're starting there. We expand on that. You've got to learn the core and then go from there, and they're doing a good job. As we've seen these first couple practices, we'll kind of add or subtract, and this is maybe a little too much, maybe we need to review a little bit, but stay flexible, and the players will tell you how it's going. I'll adjust off of what they do. I'm flexible, we're flexible, these are all really good coaches, so kind of follow their lead a little bit.
Do you hope to have a certain percentage of it in place by the end of the spring, or is it more of a read and react?
It's read and react. It'll be, this guy does this really well, we got to do that. The beautiful part for us, I believe, is we've got 6 practices before finals and spring break, so it gives us a chance to sit, take a deep breath, and say, hey, this would be a really good, concept or an idea that we can push forward in the next 9 practices. This is not really us right now. This doesn't fit the quarterback or the O-line or receiver, whoever it may be. That's not who we're going to be. Let's do it this way, or let's not do it at all. So percentage-wise, we'll have plenty.
Yeah.
But we won't have too much.
I know it's the first week of camp, and you are going to look at the film today, but what have you seen from the quarterbacks so far, from guys like Ben, Javani,
I think they're all learning at different rates, but they all kind of understand different things. Some are better at some things and some are better at others. Ben was here and ran that system. Javani was somewhere else and ran another system. Some of the stuff's going to make more sense to Javani than Ben, and vice versa. So, and then with the other guys, I've got 3 guys that were here and 3 guys that weren't. So, they're all learning. But they all have certain things that they don't totally understand. That's my job to flush that out. And that's the meeting room. We spend a lot of time in there, use a lot of different tools to try to figure out what do you know and what do you not know, and get them comfortable with verbalizing what they know, and also verbalizing, hey, I don't know this, I don't understand that, because they're in a competition to where they don't necessarily feel super comfortable saying, I don't get this. I've got to allow that, or allow an environment where that's okay to not know. And it's okay to not know right now. But we got to fix it. And then the other part of it that I think is really valuable is having Tristan back. He's a younger guy, he knows them, he relates to them well, and hey, Tristan, help me out. So it's having him, me, Coach Boyer, those are all kind of quarterback-centric guys. I think it's a really positive thing for our quarterbacks.
So almost kind of creating a learning environment from each of the guys, each guy kind of learning from each other a little.
Yeah, but I think, these are all really, really good teachers. I say coaching, but the teaching part of it is, I don't know how you coach anymore without being a good teacher. These people learn so differently, and their environment for learning has changed so dramatically from when I was in school here. You have to adjust to them, and these guys are all really good teachers. So I've been impressed with what they've, as a whole group, what they've done on the field and how they've kind of adjusted so far.
How has the combining, the guys that have been here for a while, new faces, new coaches, how has that all gone the past, month and a half?
I mean, it's been a process.
Yeah.
It's all in my head, and it makes sense to me. And sometimes I have to step back and say, yeah, it makes sense to you, but you've been doing it for 7 years or 3 years or, whatever that concept may be that we're talking about. So kind of getting an environment in there where it's like, hey, that makes no sense, or I don't really like that. And disagree doesn't mean dislike.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it. We can flush those things out. It's a good group of guys. Like, I've said that a bunch, but I've really enjoyed that part of it. And it's come along, and I think guys are starting to get really comfortable with it.
Was coming back to Corvallis, Oregon State, something that was a goal for you? Was that?
I don't know that. I've always really believed that you just be good where you're at, and everything else will take care of itself. I think the guys in this industry who are worried about the next job are the ones who are miserable. So I'm just do good where you are. And it's also, when I have gotten calls about jobs, you don't know what that feels like until you get that call. Hey, this is what it is, and this is the number, and this is what we're going to do. I don't know that. I just know my wife and I love Oregon. We've got a place in Sisters. We've always come back. Our families are both here. I wouldn't say like it was my goal to come back here, but when I did get that offer to come here, it was like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And my wife looked at me and was like, yes, we're doing it. So it was exciting and fun.
Obviously, it's a challenging period.
Yes.
For the athletic program in particular. How do you see your role in that? What's
Score
your goal?
points. Yeah, I mean, honest, because I get asked that. Well, what do you guys? I'm not going to do anything except for try to score points. Winning, scoring, creating a fun brand of offensive football is my job. I have no other input on that. I have no other opinion on it. You guys probably know more about all of it than I do. People ask me, I don't know. I have no. What'd you do when you heard UCLA was going to Big Ten? I found out just like you guys found out. I don't. My job is my job, and hopefully I do it. There's some responsibility there, and I feel that. Like, I got to do well here so that we put ourselves in a good position for whatever the future is. But I can't worry about that. I got to worry about these kids and what they know and what we do well.
After facing Damian for 2 years, it's probably nice to be on the other side. What have you seen from him, and as you kind of reshape the offense, it's nice to have a guy like that, I imagine.
Yeah, he's good. I didn't realize how big he was and how well he moved at that size. I've been around some really good running backs. Like, there have been some good players. He's just, running backs come in all shapes and sizes and different spices in the spice rack. He is big, but he moves. There's some stuff that I think he can improve on and we can get better at. I think he's still getting better.
In what ways?
I think if we can get the ball in his hand, not just giving it to him, but throwing it to him, and then as a threat out of the backfield, it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Because not only does he move well, but he's huge. So now people have trouble tackling him in a box, right, with a bunch of bodies around. Try that in space. When he's bigger than you and faster than you. Yeah, so that's the element. Like, I would like to get him going there, but you expand on that. Like, that room's really talented. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of the more talented rooms in the country, if not the most talented. Like, those guys are really good. I'm really excited about them. Thomas does a fantastic job with them. You know, they change it up, do some different stuff, but I think it'll also be somewhat silly to say, hey, Damian, you know all that stuff we're not going to do any of that anymore. So we got to be smart about it.
How's Jam? What have you seen out of Jam so
He's
far?
super athletic.
Yeah.
He's not little. He's, there's a difference between short and small. I told people that with Quiz Rogers.
I was going to say, his body looks a little Quiz-like.
Quiz was short. He was not small.
No.
Jam is built, and he is fluid and smooth, explosive. The way he moves is high-level stuff. Excited about it.
In some of those 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 periods, it's looked like it's Ben who's taking a lot of his first team reps. Is it kind of his job to lose right now?
No. It'll be whoever plays best. whoever we feel gives us the best chance to win. Coaches will tailor it to the quarterback that gives us the best chance to win games. That's it. So there will be multiple guys that get first reps. There will be, he'll take those guys that take the first reps will also take second and third reps. Now over time we'll have to pare that down a little bit, but we've got some options and but everybody needs to get better.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I keep doing this.
No, you're good.
Sticking in the quarterback room, what did you guys see on film to bring Javan in out of the FCS?
There is something with playing the quarterback position. There's a lot of guys that are really talented, and there's a lot of guys who just play the position well. There's no substitute for playing the position. Guys can look great out here in t-shirt and shorts, but in a game, it's a totally different deal. So the experience, we thought when he played against Pac-12 competition last year against Cal, he played well. Played a lot of football and played well. Did some good stuff. So we liked him. I had recruited him some out of high school. He was a kind of a COVID guy where coaches weren't able to go out on the road, so I knew of him because we recruited California pretty heavily when I was at San Jose State. So had good experience with him and felt really good about who he was and the way he was wired. All that.
There's a lot of precedent around Jerry Rice Award winners coming up to the FBS level and finding a lot of success, with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. You kind of see the same things with Giovanni.
It's cool that he did it, but I just need him to play well here. It's got to translate, and he's got to keep getting better because he's got guys in the room who are going to push him. If he pushes himself and he plays like those guys, that'd be awesome. But we need to win games, and if he gives us the best chance to do that, great. Jerry Rice Award or not. Yeah, he's a great kid. He's put on a bunch of weight since he got here, so he's starting to.
He's put on me.
Yeah, put on a lot.
What was Trent's recruiting pitch to you? He tried to get you to come.
He probably called my wife and talked to her about it.
Yeah. Come on, don't you want to come back?
Yeah, I think his recruiting pitch was, this is a good team. We've got a lot of really good players returning. I think we got a chance to keep a lot of them when I'm the head coach, and I think that was kind of it. But it didn't take long. There is a connection to this place for me, but it's I want to call plays.
Yeah.
I want to do it my way. I want to try it my way. There's a selfishness. Yeah, there's a selfishness for me. I want to do it. So it's not just Oregon State. Also, that's obviously a very big part of it. But I wanted to call it.
Yeah, and you weren't. Chip was calling plays mostly.
Chip called the plays last. We had a lot of
Input,
helped
yeah.
him and did all that, but I wanted to. It's not just calling it. It's how you run it and how you organize it and design it and the system and the schematics and the terminology.
What is the Ryan Gunderson way of calling plays, if you could describe that?
I should call the ones that work.
They don't all work.
No, they don't. They don't all work. I would say I'm probably a quarterback-friendly play caller. I like to do what the quarterback does well. But I'm also pretty realistic with I'm open to everyone and kind of want as much input as I can get, and I'm pretty good at filtering through all of that. In terms of what we'll do in a game, I'll keep that to myself, just so that people have to search high and low for that information. But
Can't you just give us your game plan right now?
yeah, we're throwing it vertically 60 times. Trent will love that.
We can pick up copies of the playbook on our way out.
Yeah, exactly. Just chart him from out here. You'll be good. Good to go?
Thanks, guys.